Hey everyone, welcome to the Kentico Rocks podcast, the podcast about all things Kentico EMS, Kentico CMS, Kentico Content, .NET, and Azure. This is your host, Brian McKeiver, and today we have episode number 27. And yes, I did have to go double check that to make sure it was right because sometimes I forget which episode it is. But I'm excited because I'm actually joined by someone from the Kentico community today for the first time. In fact, this is the first time I've been face to face virtually with you, Dmitry. So I'm happy to be joined by Dmitry Bastron from the Delete Agency. Dmitry is a Kentico developer specialist, if you will, and I'll let him introduce himself. But the reason I want to talk to Dmitry today is because I've seen your contributions to the community. I'm excited for them. And actually, one of my goals of the podcast is to kind of introduce people to the broader Kentico community. And I'm not sure everyone has seen Dmitry's stuff. So I think it's really good. And I think that's why it made sense to have you on this episode. So, Dmitry, go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell me a little about what you do, what you love, and tell me where you got that T-shirt from that has the Kentico logo on it.
Hey guys, my name is Dmitry. I work as a solution architect for UK company called Delete Agency. I have been working with Kentico for almost 4 years now and learned quite a lot during this time. Find the platform amazing. In our agency, we are working with several platforms, and Kentico is one of the key platforms for us. So we concentrate on Kentico development quite a lot and invest into working with this platform and learning it quite a lot as well. So we see that it will be a future of a lot of the projects. So during these almost 4 years, I mostly learned stuff and started from completing development courses, working on the projects, on small tasks from the beginning, but then learned a lot. And I think now I'm ready to create something and share with the community, help new starters within the community to step into the platform and feel warm welcomed in the community and share my ideas, my knowledge, help people, like doing this stuff.
Very good, very good, and you have been doing that, and we have noticed. But so thank you very much, because I always know like it's fun to help out when you can, but you got to fit that in with like work demands and normal hour activities. Sometimes a lot of us do it after hours and weekends, and you fit it in where it makes sense. But you did forget, like you have to tell me, where did you get that T-shirt from?
Yes, so this T-shirt came to our agency as a friendly pack a few months ago with a lot of Kentico goodies, and really enjoyed it. Pens, presenter, T-shirts, everything you need, you get from Kentico if you work with them. So
Yep. I think we got the same partner bundle here in the U.S. at BizStream, but that's really cool that Kentico does that for their partners and the people that kind of put a lot into it, that blog about it. They send out goodies from now and then, and the shirt is one of the things. So very cool, very cool. So 4 years. Let me think about that. If I do the math, I've been doing this for a little bit more than 4 years, but I'm trying to think of like the version that you would have started on. If I had to guess, did you start on like version 7?
no, it was 8.2.
8.2. Okay. Consider yourself lucky, sir, because did you ever get to use version 7?
No, we as an agency we started with with version 8, and so we haven't seen actually 7 or
Oh,
lower versions. Yeah.
well, I can tell you what, and in case any of our listeners out there haven't had the pleasure of working with Kentico 7 and even earlier, it was a different world. There were two admin tools, CMS Desk and Site Administrator, and you had to explain that sometimes to developers and bounce back and forth. And it was one of the best things that Kentico ever did was actually combine it into one administrator tool and put the new look and feel. It works way better now. And consider yourself lucky, sir, for not having to deal with it. We actually still have at BizStream, I think we still have one or two customers on Kentico 7, so I have to deal with it now and again. And it's still a fantastic engine, right? The API is still great, but man, it's a little jarring to go to the old interface, but very cool. So Kentico 8.8.2, in your dealings with it, have you kind of specialized in any side of the platform in terms of, do you love e-commerce aspects of the site? Do you love customization and integration, or are you on the online marketing aspect with the marketing automation, personalization engine? Tell us a little bit about, like, what's your favorite part maybe, or what you like to specialize in, or maybe where you want to go in the platform.
So basically, I would say for now, I've been working with any single part of the agent of EMS platform. So I stepped into the platform when I started as a developer at Delete and started working on a project which was already in build in on Kentico platform. And we had a lot of customizations and integrations on this project. And it was really cool and big website with, we integrated with Azure Active Directory as a login. We did a lot of custom indexes and stored a lot of information in custom indexes because they required slightly different format from what Kentico offers out of the box.
Yep.
Yeah, so also we did a lot in terms of used email marketing tied into the platform, doing something fancy, for example, to running campaigns when the client was launching a new product. We were tracking these activities and looked at the behavior of site visitors, tracked it, and kept them engaging with the website, and also done some after marketing, email send outs, and something like this. And even more fancy is the client had big show where they presented the website, and especially for this show we developed event registration platform where we sent out emails containing QR codes generated from Kentico backend. During the when guests turned up into this big event, company was scanning these QR codes and showing personalized greeting messages, which was completely cool. And we tracked these activities back in Kentico and checked who attended on this event, and then done some after marketing stuff. So the fact that platform supported all these scenarios and helped us with this is really great. And after doing this for half a year, I really enjoyed working with Kentico and loved the platform. So it helped me to keep me engaging and keep learning stuff. And that was it.
Very cool. Very cool. And I think that's your story is actually common to how I started as well, and how a lot of other Kentico developers start. I think the platform is a little new, and it's not, incredibly wide known around the world, even though that's becoming more and more known. That they get in there, they use the platform, they do a development project for like 4 to 6 months, and they start to see, like, man, this actually is a powerful tool. It's a good API. We can extend it. It's a good model for developing on top of stuff. I'm actually curious, in your event registration solution that you just described, did you use the built-in events module with Kentico, or did you kind of make your own events content model inside of Kentico, away from the kind of the built-in events application in Kentico?
No, we built our own based on Kentico API, so we created our own page type for events because apart from this, on the website, it has quite a lot of customization, not supporting only this registration path, but actually system supported other event registrations without QR codes, with just registering and places management and something like that. It just required us to customize this module. But to be honest, based on what we're looking now, and Kentico Insights show us that these kind of out-of-the-box features are becoming less and less in use, and they will be removed from Kentico 2020.
Yeah, you're actually dead on right with that. I was going to say that as well. It's really cool because the system allows you to do that. You can build your own event module that makes your exact site's requirements happen, and it lets you do all that. And like you just mentioned as well, as we move from the portal world into MVC, where we're more responsible for the front end development of everything as well, those modules are becoming less and less used because there's not really need. And Kentico 2020 just announced through Mikhail Kodak's blog and video series. Mikhail's catch up every Monday. He does that on YouTube. He basically said that they're going to take that out of the platform. And it's not that they want to like remove features for no reason. The reason they're doing that is to basically allow the engine to run even faster. So we're going to see some performance increases in Kentico 2020, which again ships probably at the end of, or actually I think it's the September timeframe next year is the tentative timeframe for it, and it'll be exciting to see that. So yeah, if you are maybe a legacy Kentico developer who's been using Kentico for many years, do take note of that. That a lot of those modules, like events, and the one that actually got the most waves is the bad words module. They're removing that from the system, and they're doing that. Think of it like they're pruning, they're cleaning up the engine. They're making it more efficient. So we have to make some sacrifices because at the end of the day, if we're not using those features, why have them in there? Why have the installation take longer? More files to compile in the solution. I think Kentico's made the right decision there, but a little bit of a tangent in case you're wondering about Kentico 2020. I'll put some links at the bottom of the podcast page to get you those official lists and where that information is. So very timely comment, Dmitry. Thank you for bringing that up. But let's circle a little bit back to you. So you've been using it for a while. Talk to me about maybe some of the cool things you've put out in your blog, because that's really kind of where we first got to know each other is on Twitter and your blog and GitHub. But tell me where what kind of content you have in your blog. Where is it at? How can people find it?
Yeah, so my blog is basically I started blogging almost a year ago when I checked out the requirements for Kentico MVP program and decided, yeah, this year I would like to go for it and try my best to share my knowledge. And one of the requirements was you need to actually have a blog on Kentico. So I taken Kentico free version of and install it locally and basically develop the website for myself. So host it on as most of our developers and I, we are using MSDN subscription, and it gives us some freebies as well to host the website on Asia. So I hosted my blog on Asia Web Applications. The address is www.dig. Oh God, I can't pronounce it. Just find it.
Don't worry. I put a link on there.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's I have it. I've on your Twitter. I have also your blog open here. Actually, oh, you don't link it from your Twitter. I'll look up. It's DIGER74, right?
Yes, this is basically my nickname from old times.
I love it. I love it because you know what? McBeeve.com, that's my nickname as well. It came way back many years ago, but that's exactly how I have my domain named as well. Maybe that's a story for another different day. You can tell me how you got that nickname. But so what kind of content is on that blog?
Yeah, so I started publishing content about new Kentico MVC version, because when we started developing websites, we realized that some of the features you need to develop themselves, like inline editors. Kentico gives you this flexibility. You can actually build whatever you want in terms of backend configuration of MVC application, but actually building these features every time from scratch doesn't make sense. So I decided to share some of these controls, like image selector, with the public, or later on shared the dynamic URL module, which, to be honest, was as I realized, was developed by other developers as well. Similar thing, but it proved the approach, but that we were thinking the same direction.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
also,
I
Yeah.
think that many people have had that routing conversation at their agencies for how to do MVC. And that's another thing that's coming out, actually was just announced in, I think, Milestone 3, is that Kentico is looking at bringing all those different ideas from like what you started. There's another set of GitHub repos on dynamic routing from Trevor Fias. He's another Kentico MVP. Where all those things are kind of working together, and Kentico is actually going to bake it into the proc now because they realize that so many people want that as a feature. But yeah, you were on the forefront of that, so congratulations. I also noticed that you had, I think, some image optimization modules recently as well. Tell me a little bit about those.
Yes, so there are a couple of image optimization modules published on NuGet, and you can find these articles on my blog. We actually, it all started from another platform we are working with. It's called Sitecore, and
Ooh,
yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
I get it.
So
I get it.
yeah, so one of the optimization engines was called Dianoga, and I've seen that the similar tool implemented for Kentico version 9 and tried to use it for version 10, but going forward, it was um, quite old integration, and I started looking in the internet what other image optimization modules are there, and found that, for example, there's a tiny PNG service which optimizes images for you and just upload image there and get the result without worrying about it and just forget about it. And on the reason why I started this whole thing was we developed a cool website, but it contained a lot of old scanned photographs, and content editors don't actually bother about optimizing it themselves. And we found on the website some crazy pictures like 40 megabyte JPEG files, which looked like when the page is loading, it was look like back from 90s on dial-up modems.
Yeah, that's never happened to any Kentico developer out there, right? No marketing team has ever uploaded a 100 megabyte picture file and slowed down their page. I'm sure this never happened.
Yeah, yeah, obviously. So, and we had two routes here: educate marketers to optimize files themselves, which is weird route to follow. We're developers; we can automate this thing. So, I found first of all, I found the tiny PNG service, which does optimization automatically, but also it allows you some amount of images to be optimized for free. But when you deal with a lot of images, it comes with some cost associated with it. And then I found free of charge library called Image Magic, which is used widely in the internet, not only for web images optimization, but for other like desktop applications and on a lot of different other spheres. So I integrated with this library as well. And during when you just upload image into Kentico via admin interface, image is being optimized and saved in the media library or page attachment automatically for you, and Kentico saves optimized version of the image. So you're not also you're not only saving the performance of helping with the performance of the website, but also saving a lot of on storage images, which might be the case when you are hosting website on web applications, which has limited storage for storing uh, media files.
Yeah, that's great. And I think it's interesting that you mentioned that it works for both the media library and attachments, because many of the modules I've seen out there, they kind of work for maybe like one or the other. In fact, even Kentico, I think at one point tried something that worked for just one side and not both. It's very cool that it works for both because I was going to ask you that question. I have not had a chance to play with the module myself yet, but that's good information. And yeah, you're right. Image Magic, I think, is pretty much the most widely known image optimization library out there. I think other desktop platforms use it, like you mentioned, and we actually have written a project with it for someone else, not even related to Kentico. It's a really good basic API that has, I I think it even has like a built-in command line interface if you want to interact with it that way. So there's many ways to use it. So it's really great. That's exactly the type of modules I think the community needs because, like I said jokingly a little bit ago, every marketer out there, they want to have the best looking image, and they don't always think about performance. They don't always think about the size that takes. In today's web pages, they have this giant hero image across the whole width of the browser, and sometimes they don't, they just want to look good. And we have to get in there, explain it, educate all the time, just like you mentioned. And if this is something that just does that for them, that's great. It's a time saver. And if you're a marketing person out there listening, please pay attention to the size of those images because it's going to make that web page even faster when you deliver it. So,
Yeah,
well,
and even more, this module is based on Kentico APIs. So it means that no matter how the image reaches the platform, if it goes to the website via staging synchronization or via integration bus or any other supported mechanism to basically copy images to the website, it will be optimized automatically for you. So
yep, yep. Well, that's you mentioned a few awesome parts of the Kentico ecosystem, and that's one of my a couple last questions here. What is your favorite part of the Kentico system? Like favorite, either favorite feature or favorite API strategy or example that you like to use the most, or like the part that's like, yes, I finally get to use this in Kentico.
yeah, so I was really impressed and love it still very much when I just started working with marketing automation. It's awesome tool, and I think it very much worth it reading about it and learning this stuff because it allows you, without writing almost a single line of code, do a lot of stuff out of the box. And even more, we are now trying to point our clients and help them educate themselves by passing uh, by completing Kentico online marketing courses because they outline most of the possible scenarios to use these tools, and I really like how it all working together. Like for example, you can trigger some process or based on something happened on the system. If someone, for example, completed the form, and you can tie to this event basically whatever you want, and start automating things, and it doesn't require you writing any code.
Right, right. And it's very timely that that's your favorite feature because actually, I believe it was Milestone 2 that's out there in a public beta that you can download from devnet.kentico.com has the updated marketing automation user interface and a new set of features that I'm really impressed with. I had a chance to install this. I have used this in just a prototype, but you can actually create templates now that make a set of marketing automation activities kind of pre-baked in there and reuse them and share them, and a few are included in the box now as opposed to having to start with like no processes at all out of the box at all. The templates make it easy to do things. The new user interface is actually pretty cool. It's a nice little update that makes it a little bit more easy to understand what's going on for marketers who aren't as technical, and it's something new to check out in Kentico 2020.
Yes, I agree with you. So these templates is a really cool and big step forward because actually, if you are a client non-technical and doesn't familiar with is not familiar with the platform so far, and when you just create something from the template, you can see how it looks, and it's very self-descriptive. You can understand what's going on in this process, and it helps engaging from the very beginning, and basically just works.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we're running out of time, Dmitry. I do want to thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Just for everyone listening out there, if you want to follow Dmitry on Twitter, his handle is at DIGER_74. I believe you also have a GitHub handle as well. That's probably close to the same thing. Is that true?
Yes, just without underscore, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, without the underscore, I see it there now. So very cool. He has his modules there for Image Magic and Tiny PNG and a few other ones. definitely feel free to check out his blog as well. We talked about that earlier. And, with that, I will let you go enjoy the rest of your day. And for everyone who's listening, this was episode number 27 of Kentico Rocks. And we'll see you all next time.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. Thanks.